So what is up, guys? Welcome back to another Cyberpunk video. So for today's video, I'm going to be showing off where you guys can get all of the best cyberware in Cyberpunk 2077. Now, as you guys probably know by now, if you guys want to upgrade and get different types of cyberware, you have to go to different ripper doctors throughout the entire city. So I went ahead and visited each of the ripper doctors in the city to find out which ripper doctors were the best ones. Now, each ripper doctor does sell different items, and normally in the game, the loot is randomly generated. Normally, if you go up to a vendor and check their inventory and then you load a save, their inventory will normally be a little bit different, but that's not really the case when it comes to the ripper doctors. Their inventory may change a little bit, but for the most part, each ripper doctor normally sells the same stuff pretty much every single time you go there. So if you want to go around and collect nothing but the best of the best cyberware, and you want nothing but all of the legendary cyberware, then this guide is for you. So to start us off, we have the Ripper Doctor that can be found out in the Badlands. Now this guy normally sells legendary cyberware for the circulatory system, at least he did for me every single time I refreshed his inventory throughout the game. I've visited this guy multiple times. He normally likes to stock up on the circulatory system. So for me, he's actually selling quite a few good ones here. He has 3 legendary ones in his inventory right now for me. The first one is the Blood Pump, which is pretty good. Activate to instantly restore 90% of your max health. Cooldown is 180 seconds. Assign the cyberware to a quick slot, and then you can activate it with RB or R1 or whatever it is on PC. So that's just a pretty good way to, to basically get all your health back if you're in a pinch. And then the second one is Biomonitor. Instantly restores 100% health when health drops to 15%. Now this one is obviously way better. You don't have to assign it to any buttons. It's just if you get low on health, it automatically restores you clear up to 100%. Now obviously this one costs a little bit more, but it's definitely worth it because it only has a cooldown of 2 minutes, so this can save you in pretty much every single gunfight that you get into. And then the third option that this guy sells says reduces all cyberware cooldowns by 30%. So depending on what kind of build you have, this may benefit you, it may not. So for me and my build, I don't really have that many tech items that I use, so this one doesn't really affect me as much. So next up, we have a Ripper Doctor that can be found in Santo Domingo. So something that's interesting about this Ripper Doctor is they actually sell epic versions of all the different items that you can attach to your arms. Now these are the big, heavy-duty, heavy-hitter cyberware that we've seen advertised time and time again. Things like the Mantis Blades, the Gorilla Arms, and the Monowire. So if you can't afford a legendary version, because those can get pretty expensive, this is just the epic version, which can save you a little bit of money. So any of you guys that are late to mid-game, I highly recommend that you guys buy these because they're pretty handy. But that's not all that they sell. They actually sell some legendary operating systems. They have one for Berserk. If you hold both the bumpers, you activate Berserk mode. And while you're in Berserk mode, you significantly boost your strength and resilience. It reduces weapon recoil by 10% and increases melee damage by 10% and increases your armor and resistance by 10%. The duration is 5 seconds and the cooldown is 10 seconds. So you can actually use this ability quite often. It says, while Berserk is active, jumping from a high height initiates a superhero landing, causing you to fall with high speed and land with enough force to create a shockwave that damages nearby enemies. And it comes with 3 cyberware mod slots. Now the downside to this is that you can't hack and stuff, so you can't hack different things in the environment when you have this equipped. So you kind of have to choose between the two. If you're not really into hacking and you're more of just, sort of running around and gunning people down and just shooting everything that you see, this is probably the option to go with. I tested it out a little bit and it does make a little bit of a difference. So if you're going for more like a tank build, this is the cyberware that you want to get. But that is not all. The same vendor actually sells some legendary items for your nervous system. They have a piece that increases your invasion by 15%, which honestly, that's probably not very good. I don't recommend getting that. Maybe if you want to do those specific side missions where you have to go around and you have to box people throughout the city, that might be a good one to have. But in general, I just don't think that extra 15% is going to be worth it, at least in my opinion. And then the second one they sells is the Charisnikov. It says allows you to aim and shoot while dodging, slows time by 90% for 3.5 seconds when blocking, aiming, or attacking during a slide or dodge, and the cooldown is 5 seconds long. So this one's actually really good. It slows down time, and obviously if you're slowing down time, you can get the advantage over all of your opponents. So I definitely recommend this one. Now up next, this Ripper Doctor can be found in the central part of the city. This is one of the 2 best Ripper Doctors in the entire game. This guy actually sells the legendary version of the arms. This guy normally has 1 to 2 different options for the circulatory system. He normally sells the bioplastic blood vessels, which increases your health regeneration outside of combat combat by 50 points per second. So this is a really good way to passively heal yourself. I've tested it out a little bit. You can definitely tell a difference. It saves a lot of medical supplies if you're running low on med supplies all the time. He also sells something for the immune system. He sells Shock and Awe. After taking damage, there's a 10% chance of releasing a large electroshock that deals damage to nearby enemies. So I highly recommend that you guys check this one out if you guys are looking for a melee build. And then the best thing about this Ripper Doctor is that they actually sell 4 legendary arm pieces. So if you are pretty late game and you want the best of the best, these things are definitely the most expensive. They come with 3 mod slots, which is a pretty big deal. They do a lot of damage. These are the top tier, best of the best, but they're definitely really expensive. These things are normally going from anywhere to like 80 to 100,000 plus dollars. And if you couldn't tell by now, it's really difficult to come across money in this game. For some reason, it just feels like a really big grind. I think they definitely need a patch to make it a little bit easier to obtain money in this game. But for those of you that are in the late game, this is where you get the legendary arms. But that is still not all. He actually sells some legendary operating systems as well. This is where I personally bought my operating system. This is easily one of the best ones in the game. If you guys like to hack, I recommend you get the Arasaka MK4. It gives you a bunch of different hacking options. It decreases the RAM cost by 2, and it also gives you more device hacks that you can have available. So if you're going around and you're sabotaging cameras and you're sabotaging your opponents, this is easily the best one to have. I absolutely love this thing. It gives you a lot of base RAM, so you don't have to worry about hacking multiple targets and running out of space and waiting for it to recharge during combat. And just overall, I haven't regretted it at all. This is easily worth $35,000. If you like hacking in any way, shape, or form, definitely go out and get this. And then he also sells the Giant Warp Dancer. It slows time by 10% for 8 seconds. The cooldown is 30 seconds. And you activate it with both bumpers. It increases your damage dealt by 15% when it is active, and then it increases your critical chance by 10%, your critical damage by 50%, and it also increases your critical damage by 50%. So this is the thing that most Cyber Psychos have equipped when you see them teleporting around and stuff. It comes with 3 mod slots, and this thing is absolutely dirty. If you have a build where you do a lot of high crit damage and then you activate this on top of it, this will really make your damage numbers just go through the roof. When I had this thing equipped, I was pretty much going around one-shot killing pretty much everybody that I came across. Especially if you combine it with a shotgun or a sword or something, or the mantis blades, you're really going to output a crap ton of damage. And then next up, if you go to Haywood, this is the second best Ripper Doctor in my opinion. It's not that far from the one we just talked about. Now this guy also sells 4 sets of legendary arms. The cost is pretty much the same with this guy as it was with the other Ripper Doctor. So this is just another place where you can get 4 different pieces of legendary arms. And then this specific Ripper Doctor also sells some legendary operating systems as well. He sells the NetWatch NetDrivers MK5, which comes with 11 base RAM and a bunch of different device hacks as well. This is pretty similar to the other one that the other Ripper Doctor had. But one thing that this Ripper Doctor does sell over the other one is that he does have some synth lungs. If you guys want to go with a stamina build, definitely for those of you that want to go with the gorilla arms or the mantis blades or any sort of melee build, these synth lungs can make a big difference with that 25% stamina regeneration. And then he also sells the second heart. It says instantly restore 100% of your max health when your health falls to 0. Cooldown is 2 minutes. So anytime you die, you instantly heal yourself, clear back to full health, and you get a second chance at life. So who doesn't want that? That's absolutely amazing. It's worth $42,000. I highly recommend you go out and buy that as soon as possible. And then the final one on this list can actually be found towards the top part of the map. And although this may not be the best Ripper Doctor, this one actually sells some things for the frontal cortex. So some of these are definitely pretty handy. For example, this one, the heal on kill, instantly restores 10% of your health after defeating an enemy, so you get health back on every single person you kill. That's absolutely amazing, especially if you're fighting off multiple enemies at the same time. And then the second one that he sells increases your damage to drones, mechs, and robots by 50%. So if for some reason you're fighting a bunch of robots, that's pretty handy. Honestly, I've not come across that many instances where I'm fighting off a bunch of robots. Normally, if I do come across robots, there's like 1 or 2 of them. I personally wouldn't invest in this one because I just don't see that many robots to fight against. But maybe if there's an update in the future or something, or maybe if you're going into a certain base or a certain situation where you know there's going to be a bunch of robots, you could definitely go with this option. So that is going to do it for this video, guys. Those are the Ripper Doctors that I like to go to when it comes to getting the best gear in the game. Now, there are more Ripper Doctors out there in Night City that I haven't covered in this video, but just keep in mind that all the Ripper Doctors pretty much sell similar items. The only ones that you're going to see a major difference in are the ones that I covered in this video, the one in the central of the city and the one in Haywood. Like I said, those two are the best. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. Let me know down in the comment section down below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. I'm almost at 100,000 subscribers now, so every subscription really helps me out. And that is going to do it for this video, guys, and I will talk to you all next time.